All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Crypto Convo, series I make whenever I feel it's necessary, where we cover some exciting news and price action in the land of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, as well as some crypto-related stocks. So, as always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, you know how we kick these things off. Bitcoin on TradingView, kicking off the month of September on a strong note as well, crossing $12,000 for the first time today in a few weeks now. So, super exciting. Just once again reconfirms the thesis that I've had for a while now since it broke the multi-year downtrend that we are in fact in the new phase of the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, everything bull market. Okay, so super exciting here. We'll zoom out, of course, here. The reason I was zoomed in right there is just to show you guys what it's done since it broke this downtrend. This kind of shorter term downtrend that it set over the month of August broke out of here, and then now it's on the next wave up. You guys know the deal. Okay, so in terms of news, we don't have too much to talk about today. We do have this interesting article from Cointelegraph that's titled "Bitcoin will hit new high in near term as Buffett exit USD." Max Keiser. Okay, so this is an interesting article. I just have a few points over here, just talking also about, once again, getting really down to the root fundamentals of why I personally like Bitcoin is sadly a decreasing dollar. So you guys know, if you've watched before, that I'm not short the dollar. Although from a technical perspective, I kind of am. I do not want the dollar to fail. I love this country. I'm blessed to live in this country, and I want a strong US dollar, but sometimes the reality doesn't align with what you hope for, and that's kind of the objective truth right now, is that the dollar is declining in value. When the dollar, the DXY, declines in value, that means strong, like safe haven, hard money assets like Bitcoin, like gold, like silver do well, and that's what we're seeing right now. Okay, so we will cover this again. Buffett exiting the dollar, going into assets like gold, like we've talked about before on the channel. Gold miners going into the Nikkei index, which is like Japan's market. So we will talk about this a little bit. And then we'll go on to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum really leading the market right now. Okay, so Ethereum soars 10% overnight. Implications for Bitcoin. Okay, so we'll talk about a little bit about Ethereum right now. Talk about DeFi. Talk about the holdings that are now locked up in DeFi, which is this chart here. Very bullish for Ether. Been a big fan of Ether for a long time. Covered it many times on the channel. So it's good to see the silver to Bitcoin's gold doing extremely well right now. All right, so that's all the news. Of course, along with that, we'll touch on Bitcoin. We'll touch on Ethereum. We'll take a quick look at Chainlink. I will actually take a quick look at XRP for those. I see some of you guys asking about it. I've been invested in XRP for a long time. I've held the bag since 2017. So XRP, I'm still bullish on. There's a lot of controversy around XRP for those of you who understand the cryptocurrency landscape, but I'll still touch on that nonetheless. We'll take a quick look on it. And then, of course, Riot and Mara doing extremely well today. Still see huge things ahead for Riot and Mara. Other stocks like Hive doing well today too. Of course, the rest of the cryptocurrency related stocks are doing well. Just makes sense when the crypto sector is doing well, the crypto related stocks will follow. Okay, so as always, before we do get into it, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you are invested in any of the stocks or assets that we're talking about today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course, check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. First link in the description if you want to know my precise trades, all call options, put options, stock positions, cryptos. It's my entire portfolio, literally exactly as it states. And along with that, I do send out a newsletter every trading day during market hours, talking about the trades I made that day, explaining my thoughts around those trades, and giving you guys my thoughts on the market in more real time. So check that out if you're interested. If not, no worries at all. That said, I appreciate you guys, and let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see here, once again, as Bitcoin did break this kind of shorter term breakdown, or shorter term downtrend that it's set from August 17th, it set the high at about $12,500 on August 17th. Since then, it has been in a downtrend. Once it broke out of that just a few days ago, you can see it's been on an uptrend, and it's now taking off once again. So as far as how I like to look at Bitcoin, we are way too zoomed in right now. You guys know I focus on the long term for the most part. So let's actually go to the daily and really zoom out here. That way you guys can see some of my arrows. All right, you guys know also that I usually do kick it off with the fundamentals, so we will cover the news after this, but I'm kind of excited to give you guys a quick technical breakdown of what I'm seeing right now. All right, so as you can see here on the daily, I do definitely think now that we are technically in an uptrend, again, we have broken the shorter term downtrend, once again kicking off another uptrend. At least that's what I'm seeing. A lot of lines drawn here. You guys try not to get too all that really matters is these two right now. Okay, sorry, don't worry about these. These are just other lines of support and resistance, but I'm more focused on the lines of resistance right now as opposed to the lines of support. Okay, so that's very, very bullish, very good news. All right, what I expect to happen once again is I do think Bitcoin Again, just with all the fundamental strength, which we will touch on in here, all the stars are aligning. You guys know I believe this. All the stars are aligning for Bitcoin from a technical and fundamental perspective. I do think that Bitcoin will once again retest this very steep trend line, this very steep uptrend, this line of resistance right here. I don't know if it's going to hit next week, the week after. It's when it will hit that. It could hit all the way back here. It could just go flat and then go parabolic right here. But I do think, and again, you guys keep in mind, I'm very optimistic. I am honestly biased on Bitcoin right now just because I'm so fundamentally optimistic on it. So this is, I will admit, an optimistic target right here. But I think it makes sense, again, with all the macroeconomic factors right now. And then from a technical perspective, very basic trends, you can see this trend line right here that it's set from the bounce back in March. Very solid uptrend, very solid line of resistance here. I do think that this might coincide with the shorter term uptrend that it started setting at the end of July and come to that apex right there at about $19,600 at the end of October. Okay, so I've been saying conservatively, I think we'll see at least a $15,000 Bitcoin by the end of October. That is my conservative estimate. I think it's easy for us to see that. But very bullish, very optimistic estimate is, as I've been saying for probably a couple of weeks now, I think we can hit $19,000 plus by the end of October. Okay, so remember, you guys, not financial advice. I don't know what's going to happen. This is just kind of what I'm seeing on the charts, and always know my money is where my mouth is. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's cover this article. Bitcoin will hit new high in near term as Buffett exits USD. The Sage of Omaha, it's the Oracle of Omaha. All right, guys. The Oracle of Omaha is getting out of the world reserve currency, Max Keiser claims, and that's a prelude to Bitcoin hitting a new record. The US dollar is getting so weak that even Warren Buffett is getting out of Bitcoin, and we'll see getting out, and Bitcoin will see all-time highs, says Max Keiser. In his latest forecast for macro, the RT host warned that safe havens would seriously outperform fiat. Buffett, he implied, knew what was coming. Keiser, Buffett getting out of the US dollar. Buffett's move into Japan, along with his gold investment, confirms he's getting out of the USD bigly. This guy, Max Keiser, is kind of a weird guy. You guys look him up if you're not familiar. He's always kind of weirded me out, but I think he's on the right page. He's just kind of a loony dude. Keiser wrote on Twitter on Monday, USD is trending lower today, about to break key support. Bitcoin, gold, silver will make new all-time highs in the near term. He was referring to Buffett's move into the Japanese assets, taking a 5% stake in the country's 5 biggest trading houses in a move totaling $6 billion. The 5 major trading companies have many joint ventures throughout the world and are likely to have more. I hope that in the future there may be opportunities of mutual benefit. The publication quoted him saying, the announcement came days after the Federal Reserve confirmed that it would let inflation rise above 2% target as a temporary measure, something that weighed heavily on the dollar. After volatility, the USD currency index, the DXY, began plunging into new depths on Monday, bouncing off its lowest levels in 2 years. Late in July, those levels first appeared. Bitcoin saw a price jump to $12,500. As Cointelegraph reported, expectations remain that further dives in the DXY will produce similar effects. So as you guys can see here, this is just a brief look at the DXY. You know what? We'll just look at it on TradingView because we have it down here. I have brought this up in the past. This is important to look at just because I trade pretty heavily gold, silver, and Bitcoin, as you guys know. So the DXY, I mean, this is a pretty rough trend line that it's falling right now, super steep to climb. And again, you guys, I want to elaborate this right now if you haven't heard me say this in the past. I don't believe Bitcoin will replace the US dollar. A lot of people claim Bitcoin to be new money. I view Bitcoin more so as digital gold. Okay, so it's an absolutely scarce asset, similar to gold in that, right? And that's the value it provides as an asset. It's more convenient gold in that sense. Okay, so I do think that it could potentially, maybe a long time down the road, serve as the global reserve currency, but I don't think that any time in the short term, like I'm talking like decade, maybe 2 decades, that it will not replace the US dollar or any other fiat currency for that matter. But I do think that it serves a very good purpose in a world where trillions are being printed in fiat currencies. And I do think that, again, unfortunately, the fact that the dollar is going down means that safe haven assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin will do extremely well. Okay, so again, you guys, the dollar has just really fallen off a cliff. It's not doing well from every technical standard. On the daily, stochastics are pointing down. Nothing looks good. This is a very not good looking chart, unlike Bitcoin, unlike a lot of the other assets. And that's why, you guys, the stock market, every asset that's not the dollar does well, because you want appreciating assets in a world with the depreciating dollar, and that is inflation right there, you guys. Inflation 101. Okay, so that's this. Pretty much that. Okay, we'll cover this right here, and then we'll just move into Ethereum and take a look at the other charts, all right? So Ethereum soared 10% overnight. Implications for Bitcoin. Since last Friday, Ethereum has increased by over 20%, further padding its 2020 gains. Ethereum has been one of the brightest stars in the current bull market for digital assets, gaining 260% in 2020 compared to 65% for Bitcoin. The principal driver for ETH's growth has been the enormous boom in decentralized finance, or DeFi, given the majority of the DeFi networks are built on top of the Ethereum platform. I'm not going to cover these stupid freaking trash coins, okay? But this is something important to remember, you guys. Even with Ethereum, Ethereum, to be completely honest, back in 2017 was my initial jump into the cryptocurrency landscape. To be completely honest, I thought it was I did a little research on the project. I thought it was pretty cool fundamentally, but honestly, I like the name. I think Ethereum has a nice ring to it as opposed to many of the other coins out there. And that's really what the power of brand comes down to, okay? So that's why I always talk about brand. Branding really does matter, especially in 2020 when there's so many new traders out there, so many story stocks. That's really what's, to be completely honest, driving the markets right now. I mean, name brand does matter. And Bitcoin is a great brand. Ethereum is a great brand too. But Ethereum has really grown up since then with Ethereum 2.0. There's so much tied into DeFi right now. And as you'll see right here, the DeFi boom has equated in a crazy amount of value locked up in DeFi and Ethereum. Okay, so I'll read through this and show you guys this chart. Most importantly, the DeFi boom has accrued value to Ethereum via greater developer interest, i.e. building the next unicorn DeFi token on Ethereum rather than competitors. This dynamic can be visualized by the total value locked up, TLV on DeFi, which has dramatically increased from less than $1 billion to over $9 billion in 2020. So as you can see here, this is a crazy jump. And you guys, DeFi, so again, decentralized finance, there's so many new apps, so many new projects built on Ethereum and prioritizing these DeFi platforms. So, for example, Kyber Network is a DeFi play. I talked about that before. Chainlink, most importantly, is a DeFi play, a DeFi Oracle play, so it kind of bridges the gap, but they're all built on Ethereum. If you liquidate your positions in many of these plays, you do it in Ethereum, and if you operate your blockchain on Ethereum, you need actual Ether. You need ETH to gas whatever project it is you're working on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so I will try to go more in depth on I've talked about DeFi a few times on this channel. I don't really like I don't like repeating myself too much, although I'm sure you guys know that I do that all the time. But with more complex topics, you guys, there's a lot of great videos out there talking about what DeFi is and really breaking it down. There's a lot of great articles out there as well. There's so much good content on it. I really recommend, if you guys aren't familiar with DeFi, to just get somewhat educated on it, because it is really going into the future of finance, especially in such a financially uncertain world right now. I think DeFi will definitely play a significant role in the future of the entire financial markets. Okay, so very cool stuff. That is, again, this is cool. And I've been following, where was it? So Ethereum in the year 2020 up 260%, compared to Bitcoin up 65%. And remember, you guys, Ethereum is still a significantly smaller project in terms of market cap than Bitcoin. You guys know the deal with the smaller market cap. It takes less capital inflow to raise the individual share price. The same works with Bitcoin cryptocurrencies because there is a float. There is an amount of outstanding shares, but it's tokens in the crypto sense. Okay, but again, DeFi booming, Chainlink popping off, so many of these DeFi plays popping off. They're built on Ethereum. As a matter, just as a fact of that, the Ethereum price is inevitable to rise. Okay, so that said, let's move on to Ether. Take a look at what's going on here. Ether, again, absolutely on a tear. Just breaking today. Did it break? I think it did break $500. Not quite. So it's about to break the $500 mark, you guys. I'm gonna zoom out here actually to the weekly and the 5-year. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm sure it's not too many of you if you're watching this, Ether back in 2017 during the initial bull market did hit a high of $1,400. Okay, it's currently sitting at $470. That still leaves room for a significant, this thing can still multiply a few times prior to even scratching its previous all-time high. So that's important to remember. In terms of areas of resistance, it's kind of breaking around this area. It spent a lot of time around this 470 area around here. So this is a strong level of resistance right here. So Ethereum will have to prove itself that it can blow through this. If it breaks, I would say if it can break $520, I'd be convinced that it will ultimately move up to like the $700 region. And if once the bull market really does initiate, I don't think after it breaks around like $750, $800, I think we're going to see a significant move up, probably to new highs. I don't think it's just going to go up to previous all-time highs. Same goes for Bitcoin. So many of these other projects. I think that especially in this world where equities, where assets are just exploding. And again, a lot of the projects within this sector still have pretty small market caps in the grand scheme of things. So once like everything that 2017 had, 2020 has just tenfold. So I think this bull market is going to be significantly greater than the 2017 one, just for so many factors that I'm not going to name right now. I'm sure you guys have an idea if you tuned into the videos before, but I'm so confident that we're going to see a significantly greater rally this year than we did in 2017. Okay, so not too much to say there in terms of Ether, you guys, and keep in mind, over the next few days we could see a correction. It could pull back more, but the main thing is that over the coming, I think by the end of this year, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see new all-time highs in both Ether and Bitcoin. Okay, and of course, if Bitcoin and Ether do well, they are the gold and silver of the entire cryptocurrency market, the two kingpins of the crypto sphere. If those do well, it's very likely that all these other projects will absolutely explode as well. Okay, so let's take a quick look at Chainlink right now. So Chainlink right here, actually we're gonna have to go back to the daily. This looks a little wild. Okay, so go to the daily on Chainlink. So Chainlink did play out this bull flag. It did in fact play out this nice bull flag that we've had drawn. And I think right now, to be completely honest, is a nice time to be accumulating Chainlink. Again, once again, I'm not saying it can't go zigzag. I'm not saying we're not gonna see some volatility here. But I do think, you guys know the good old two-wave theory. I do think that maybe after the bubble popped right here, we're seeing some capitulation. I think right now is a pretty solid time to buy some Chainlink. I personally already have a pretty fat bag. I'm not trying to brag, but just being real. In terms of my portfolio, at least, pretty fat bag of Chainlink. So I'm very happy with my Chainlink position right now and the balance of my cryptocurrency portfolio as well. But I do think that at these levels, Chainlink is definitely worth looking into. All right, I'm not going to cover. Again, there's a lot of stuff I like in the cryptocurrency sector right now, you guys. Again, check out the newsletter if you want to know my exact positions, and I do talk about them a little more in the portfolio. But we'll take a look at XRP, because XRP is one of the crazy ones. So go to the 5-year on XRP just to really zoom out. So XRP is significantly below its all-time highs if you guys aren't familiar with XRP's history. So XRP, Ripple, it's a money transmittance. So Ripple as a company is different from XRP, the token. So Ripple as a company works on money remittances. So they're trying to take down SWIFT when international banks want to transfer value, and obviously in currencies, they use a middleman called SWIFT. All right, and that's someone who has just a bunch of different fiat currencies in a pile that when banks want to transfer from other international banks, they kind of resolve it through SWIFT. And Ripple as a company is trying to disrupt that industry, and they're definitely doing a good job at doing so far. So Ripple as a company is solving an extremely valuable problem in terms of global finance, and then XRP is the means they use to settle transfers. Okay, so say you send like the Chinese yuan to America, you want to settle it in dollars or something, but that's going to take a while to actually get it to work. You settle it in XRP right off the bat, and then that makes it so Ripple as the company can immediately settle both sides of the deal. Okay, and then they're like, the middleman is XRP in that situation. I wish I articulated that better. Sorry if I didn't do too well, but again, I will go deeper on these in the future as these projects continue to expand, continue to do well, and continue to release news. So XRP in 2017 reached a high of $3.30, which is pretty crazy considering it's only at 30 cents right now. So it could 11x from this point. It would have to 11x from where it's at right now to reach its previous all-time highs. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does that at all. We've known it's proved itself to do that in the past. And again, everything going on, all the fundamental factors at play right now in 2020 are significantly greater than they were in 2017. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Like I'm kind of banking on like a $5 to $10 rip roll. I know that XRP, I'm sorry. I know that's a huge margin, but you never know what can happen in these cryptocurrency bull markets. We've seen it happen before. And again, this is a very different year, very different times, way more volatile times. So I wouldn't be surprised, to be completely honest, to see a $10 XRP by the end of this bull market. All right. That said, let's move on to Riot and Mara and then just kind of close this off. So Riot Blockchain, this looks crazy. Just once again, a reminder, I like when I kind of accidentally go onto Riot Blockchain and Mara from the weekly perspective and zoom out to 2017, just to show you guys some perspective as to how far this thing can go if it starts to explode. So Riot, once again, did reach a high in 2017 of $45. Let's zoom in here. Let's go back to Let's go back to the 6 month. So right here, you can see my mouse is tweaking out. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so right, you can see here is coming up once again. Not quite exactly following the arrows that we had drawn out, but pretty close. Okay, so you can see Riot did exactly touch. We are on the 2 hour time frames. Riot did exactly touch off this line of support that we've had drawn on the 2 hour. That's extremely bullish. So, I mean, you guys, I'm so bullish. I always say, I'm irresponsibly bullish on Riot. This whole ride down, I have been adding on to my Riot position just because I'm convinced that we're going to see another move up. And again, I do obviously think that will coincide with the moves up in Bitcoin and Ether and the entire rest of the cryptocurrency market. But I definitely think that we could see by the end of October, when Riot does well, if it does end up testing it by the end of October, this is mid-October, I wouldn't be surprised to see Riot once again retest this very conservative trend line that it set way back in May. That would be over here at about $8. If it tests this super steep one that it set back in July, we could see like a $12, $13 Riot by the end of October. And you guys, I know that's optimistic. Again, I'm obviously biased because I'm very heavily positioned in Riot for full transparency. But you guys, I've just seen, I've held this for a long time. I've played Riot for years now. I know what it can do. And I see no reason that it couldn't do the same thing again, even like 2, 3, 4-fold. Okay, so very bullish on Riot. Same goes for Mara right now. I mean, I still think Riot or Mara on a shorter term time horizon does have more potential for a significant pop. Okay, so I think Mara, just because it was such a sharp move up, sharp move down, I think it could see a sharp bounce as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mara. Of course, you guys remember, if Bitcoin does well, that Bitcoin has to do well for these to perform. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Mara once again come back up to these levels where it spent some time at on its move up, and it also spent some time at as the bubble popped and then it was moving down. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a $4-ish, $4 region Mara over the course of the next week or so. Remember you guys, I just have to keep reiterating this. I don't know if this is going to happen or not. It could tank. I don't know, but this is kind of just what I'm expecting, what I'm feeling based on everything else going on within the sector. Okay, I'll probably come out to this level. I wouldn't be surprised if we stagnate for a little, maybe even correct a bit, and then continue that move up once again to my ultimate price target. If this is my ultimate price target, about 750, nice even, and that could happen obviously once again by the end of October if Bitcoin does exactly what I expect it to, or not even exactly what I expect it to, just kind of along the lines of what I'm hoping for Bitcoin to do. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see an 8, similar to Riot, an 8 to 12, $13 Mara. Okay, and again, you guys, it's so hard to give specific technical analyses on these just because they're so small in regard to market cap. Riot, $130 million, Mara, like $85 million. It does not take many new investors, and we all know that there's so many freaking new investors in this market right now that these things could go absolutely ballistic. Okay, so just keep an eye on these guys. I'm so bullish. It is good to see these bouncing. It's only a matter of time, you guys. These things work in cycles. Same goes for biotech. If you guys follow me for the biotech and you happen to be watching these, understand that industries like this work in cycles. News is like heavily dictates the movement of them. At least the catalyst for large moves. So just keep in mind, guys, like, things work in cycles. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up if the fundamentals are there. Obviously, the fundamentals have to be there, and I don't think the fundamentals have ever been stronger for Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency sector. All right, so very bullish on these. I'm excited to keep you guys posted as we do see progress in this sector, hopefully. So, yeah, as always, you guys, please let me know down in the comments below what plays you're excited about right now. If there's none we talked about, if there is, definitely let me know what you think about them. If I missed some, or if you think I should keep my eye on some, please let me know in the comments down below. Always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.